Spec Ops was revealed to us within the Call of Duty Next livestream. This is of course going to be the third co-op mode inside of Modern Warfare 2. In this video I want to talk about a bunch of details regarding Spec Ops as well as the DMZ mode and some other stuff. First of all, I'm going to play the clip regarding Spec Ops from Call of Duty's livestream, and then I'll talk about a bunch of extra details that they didn't go over in that stream and even our first look at the mode.
Okay, so what about this year's third mode?
So I'm happy to say that Special Ops will return as our third mode and will be focused on two-player missions, asymmetrical in game design. So think one player on air support, one player on the ground, and I think the OG fans will be really excited because we've looked at, you know, some of the iconic Modern Warfare missions like Overwatch and really tried to implement some of those themes into the design. So we'll be talking more about Special Ops in the months to come.
Steph, you're saying I should be looking now for a Special Ops partner.
Sitting right next to you.
So as you know, Spec Ops inside of Modern Warfare 2019 was very controversial and was disliked by the vast majority of the community. So much so that a bunch of the content they had planned for the mode ended up getting cancelled. I think the idea that they had in their heads for Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2019 was too ambitious because it was originally supposed to be a semi-open world mode played on the entirety of Verdansk, where you could go from point of interest to point of interest doing different objectives and missions. But I think due to hardware limitations they couldn't pull it off and the mode was very buggy, apparently, according to QA testers. This time it seems like for Modern Warfare 2 they're going to be taking a more stripped back approach to Spec Ops, where it's going to be more akin to the Spec Ops we saw inside of Modern Warfare 2 and 3. And we know that we are going to be able to play at least two-player co-op. The official description for Spec Ops reads, continue the story after the Modern Warfare 2 campaign concludes with this in-depth two-player cooperative experience, allowing you to explore large-scale hot zones with your fellow squad mates, assemble your two-person strike team for a number of branching operations against Redacted, available at launch. And I wonder if the group we are against in Spec Ops could be Shadow Company with General Shepard, or maybe we'll just be going against Alcatala again. Infinity Ward did also reveal to us our first image and look at Spec Ops, but we can't really take much from this. Within Call of Duty's blog it mentions being able to play Spec Ops missions with up to 4 players on the new Warzone 2 map. I think this is referencing DMZ though, and I'll talk about that later in this video. I don't think that is referencing Spec Ops, but DMZ is essentially a new Spec Ops mode, and I guess is kind of like what Infinity Ward may have originally planned for Spec Ops to be like in Modern Warfare 2019, but couldn't execute it. Now, it begs the question, if Spec Ops is returning, will we see survival mode back? Because we had survival in Modern Warfare 2019, but most people didn't like it because for some reason they made it way worse than Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 3. Personally, I would like to see survival back, played on the multiplayer maps of course, but I would like it to be pretty much just like the Modern Warfare 3 version this time. And if they do end up bringing it back, I would like to see it in all of the multiplayer maps instead of just some of them, like in Modern Warfare 2019. And they stopped even releasing new survival maps in the DLC, once again because people hated on it so much and it was just a waste of development time. So right now we don't really know much about what the Spec Ops mode entails apart from what they inferred within the Call of Duty Next livestream. But I'm assuming that the Spec Ops reveal will be sometime before the launch of Modern Warfare 2 on October 28th. I reckon a couple weeks before release. Like they said in the livestream, they didn't want to bust their load all at once and release everything to know about Modern Warfare 2 within Call of Duty Next. They still wanted to leave more information to uncover later on.
I mean, it's amazing, and there's still so much more to come, right? Like, we heard a little bit about DMZ, like, what is that? Tell me more.
Yeah.
We're going to learn in the future. Spec Ops as well, they talked about a little bit. We even heard earlier, rank play coming in the future. So we got so much Call of Duty. If today wasn't enough for you, like, there's going to be more.
Oh, so much more.
There is also going to be a firing range available to test your weapons on launch. It's not currently in the beta, and you'll be able to get a true sense of the weapons that you create within the gunsmith by testing them out. It's an offline testing ground with 3 firing lanes, ledges for mantling, and multiple targets at different ranges. I assume this will probably be able to just be booted up right from the menu within Warzone 2, DMZ, Spec Ops, multiplayer, you name it, it'll be there. Just like we could in Advanced Warfare and COD World War II, a great addition that I'm glad to see back. Another huge addition to Modern Warfare 2 are going to be raids. These are going to be available after launch and will just release every now and again as special limited time events. events and are going to be a whole new experience for the franchise, a 3-player cooperative engagement requiring teamwork and strategic puzzle solving, thinking in between bouts of intense combat. Of course, they're not going to be anywhere near as elaborate as raids that we have in Destiny, for example, but I think this is a much needed change and is going to be a huge addition to the post-launch content for Modern Warfare 2 as well, and a huge incentive for people to hop on and complete the new raid, especially if they are bored of the general game. This will give them a reason to keep coming back, and it'll be interesting to see how good the rewards are for completing these raids. I'm guessing they'll just be blueprints and skins, which I wish they had some crazier stuff. Speaking of, I next want to talk about the other mode, DMZ, and I think this is basically going to be the game's main cut mode. I feel like Spec Ops isn't going to be that elaborate, just because they put so much time and development and resources into Spec Ops in Modern Warfare 2019, and it ended up falling through. Because of that, I feel like this mode is going to be scaled back, and DMZ is going to be the main focus, and that's what I want to talk about in a second, but first of all, I have a quick message to share for you. This video has been kindly sponsored by To Leave, by Red Deer Games and Freaky Creations, a single-player game that's been available on Steam and PlayStation platforms for a while now, but it's actually just released on Nintendo Switch and Xbox platforms too. It's a beautiful platformer like Grizz and Limbo, saw through over 80 gorgeously designed maps by using Ham's flying door. It's your pathway and only means of transport. Remember, they are very fragile and need to be treated with the utmost care. Travel through the dark void to discover hidden meanings and symbolism weaved into the gameplay. Challenge yourself and understand the heartbreaking truth about Ham. Ham is a manic depressive young man in possession of a magical flying door. He seeks to use an ancient derelict technology to harvest the souls of his homeworld and send everyone, including himself, to heaven. To Leave features challenging puzzle platformer levels that will test your puzzle solving skills through an emotionally gripping story. The game addresses depression, a state of mind that tempts you to open any doors if they allow you to leave everything behind, sometimes for a moment, sometimes for life. Experience a lyrical, inspiring puzzle platformer that blurs genre boundaries. Take on grueling challenges and test your problem-solving skills. Follow an emotionally gripping narrative, a captivating story that doesn't hold back on characters and symbolism. Understand the hardships of depression through a powerful mix of story and gameplay. Enjoy a beautiful, handcrafted world with unique travel mechanics, 80 levels, and an incredible music soundtrack. Some of its reviews include Geeks Under Grace saying, "To Leave is a game worth experiencing. However, this recommendation comes with a caveat. Be advised, this game is not for the faint of heart. Only buy this game if you are willing to see madness firsthand." Third Strike said, "To Leave is more than just a game. These worlds greet us at the start of this adventure as it takes us on a very special journey into the mind of somebody suffering from mental illness and his devious plan to end the world. Not the most casual of subject matters, and To Leave handles it about as well as a video game can attempt, without throwing us completely off the deep end." Miyu PS4 said, "Simple but immersive, To Leave shows a pleasing surprise while delivering a mix of precise gameplay, intricate story, and psychological issues that go beyond the screens." So if this sounds exciting to you and is right up your alleyway, check it out via the link in the description today. So regarding DMZ, we actually learned within Call of Duty Next that it's going to be releasing completely free to play on November 16th, which is the start of Season 1 for Modern Warfare 2. Yes, that is right, this mode is going to be releasing with Warzone 2. It's actually going to be a part of a Warzone 2, and presumably you'll be able to boot it up from the Warzone 2 menu. This is really good news because there was various different rumors and leaks about whether or not it will be free to play, and free to play is the right direction for this mode because it's a Warzone-esque mode, and it will reach a much wider demographic if it is free to play because it's catering to the exact same demographic of Warzone fans, and of course that game is free to play. So we actually have a lot of details on this mode, way more than we have regarding Spec Ops, both official information as well as leaks, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, but first of all I'll play the clip from Call of Duty Next where they discussed DMZ.
So we've all heard the rumors that Warzone 2.0 is going to have some very, very interesting new modes. Would you care to confirm or deny Stephanie Snowden?
It's finally time. I have read about some new modes on the internet recently, but one of the most exciting things about Warzone 2.0 is confirmation that an all-new sandbox experience is coming at launch. I am happy to announce DMZ, Call of Duty's extraction mode, will arrive with Warzone 2.0 at launch later this year. I played DMZ for the very first time on my first day at IW, and to this day, playing it non-stop, the possibilities with this game mode blow my mind.
So DMZ. I can also confirm that DMZ is real. We're not going to go into depth on it today because we do have to keep some stuff in reserve. What I can tell you, though, is we've created a rich sandbox where you can define your own win condition. You infiltrate Al-Mazrah, you accomplish your goals, and then you decide to extract when the time is right. It is played across the whole map, and the AI is occupying large sections of the map, and they are lethal opponents, and they do command your respect. You have to watch out for them. You have to work with your team. They patrol areas, they occupy strongholds, and they'll reinforce based on players' actions. And then on top of all this, you can choose which mission you want to accomplish, or you can chase after a variety of activities in the world. And you can play this differently depending on your playstyle. You can go loud, like I always do. You can go quiet, or you can hunt other players or avoid them entirely. Or you could just decide, hey, I'm going to explore the secrets of Al-Mazrah and see what's there.
Loot up, exfil, it's totally up to player choice there, and I'm really excited about the full scale of what we're delivering for this chapter, and we want players to have an amazing experience in Warzone 2.0.
So this mode is going to be a new sandbox experience. Of course, DMZ stands for Demilitarized Zone, and it's going to be an extraction-based mode that is very similar to Escape from Tarkov. This mode is going to be played on the brand new Warzone 2 map, which has been built from the ground up and is a large-scale map for not just Battle Royale, but as he said, the DMZ mode. The Warzone 2 map is of course called Al-Mazrah, which takes place in a fictional in-game region in West Africa. DMZ will reportedly support up to 100 players on the map at once, and it will see a new squad matchmaking platform. It seems like you will be able to play in squads of 4. There are more realistic, refined vehicles that react to enhanced physics, depleting gas tanks, veering off course following a flat tire, a new endgame dynamic with multiple closing circles instead of the usual one, the ability to revive players on other teams, and perhaps most interestingly, the introduction of proximity chat. These are all features that are also in Warzone 2. Basically, DMZ and Warzone 2 are pretty much going to share all of the same mechanics. It's going to have the same drop-in system with the parachute, it's going to have pretty much the same looting boxes and bags, it's also going to feature strongholds. Everything that is in Warzone 2 is going to be in DMZ, and I think that is why Warzone 2 is so different from the original Warzone, because a lot of the features are actually from DMZ, and both of the modes are supposed to play off each other, if that makes any sense. Apparently there will be intel that you can collect inside of the DMZ mode, as well as Spec Ops, I think. This intel will just be like the intel you could collect on Verdansk in Warzone 1, and will continue the post-launch story of Modern Warfare 2 after the campaign for that game. So how DMZ works is, just like in Warzone, you drop in as a squad on this large Al-Mazrah map. You are then able to loot around the map, complete various different objectives and challenges, but everything you loot you will actually collect, and you will be able to take that loot into the next game, but only if you are able to successfully exfil. Of course, you are going to be doing this at the same time of a bunch of other squads doing it in your game, so you will all be competing against each other, and only some of you will be able to exfil. In order to exfil, you need to shoot out a flare for extraction, wait for a chopper to arrive, then there is a timer for the chopper to depart. You either live and extract with what you have, or risk dying to people who see the flare and know you are extracting. And if you successfully do it, you'll be able to take all of that loot into the next game. It's more of a continuous Warzone experience, if that makes any sense, instead of it going just game by game. Patrick Kelly from Infinity Ward outlined a scenario in DMZ in which a squad could down a sniper from a tower, corner him and say, okay, we'll revive you, but you are on our team now, he said, and you've picked up a new teammate, and we are offering different things. So it seems like there's going to be a lot of different ways to actually play this mode. You are going to be able to take players from other teams and I guess lose players too. There's going to be a very mixed bag of scenarios. Like I said, it is described as a sandbox mode, so there's going to be a lot of creativity and a lot of different ways to play this mode, and I can't wait to jump in. I think this might actually be one of the main things I play, because I've kind of gotten bored of the multiplayer experiences over the years, and Warzone's okay, but I think that DMZ is catering to my itch the most, so I can't wait to play it. Also, I believe you're probably going to be able to play a third-person variation of this mode. Of course, there's a third-person mode in multiplayer, but I think there may actually be third-person LTMs coming to Warzone 2 as well as Modern Warfare 2, so I can't wait to try that out. Like in Warzone 2 and its strongholds, DMZ does also feature AI. According to Tom Henderson, when you are attacking a location, more AI gets called in as reinforcements, and they rappel down ropes from helicopters, turn up in infantry trucks, etc. The Ghost Ghost of Hope did also go on to say, when you are exfilling, AI will only attack you if they are in the nearby area, but they won't show up in reinforcements, but of course this could change by release. But the main risk with exfilling is that people will see the flare that you have to shoot and kill you before you extract. The DMZ experience seems to be an ever ongoing thing that you can jump in and out of. It's an alive ecosystem. Warzone 2 and DMZ will reportedly both feature dynamic weather, such as a storm cloud coming in. Infinity Ward have said that all of the major points of interest within the Warzone 2 map are also going to make their way as ground war maps within multiplayer. But that's everything we know regarding DMZ. Like I said earlier, I think a lot of development and resources have gone into this mode, a lot more than have gone into the Spec Ops mode. So this is essentially going to act as the main core mode to the game, whereas Spec Ops is just a little bonus addition, whereas this DMZ mode is a main pillar instead of just an extra mode tacked on that's not really as developed and in depth. Okay, that's everything I wanted to talk about DMZ. Finally, the last thing I want to mention in this video is just regarding the classic minimap inside of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer. As you know, you can only get the classic minimap with the Bird's Eye perk, which is quite disappointing. It was a big critique on Modern Warfare 2019, and there were leaks and rumors that Infinity Ward were changing it for Modern Warfare 2 to have the classic minimap and red dots active at all times when people fire on the enemy team. According to CharlieIntel and various other YouTubers and influencers who got to play Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer a couple months ago, in the build they played, the red dots were actually active, and all of the people who played said that the game played way better with the classic minimap, and they told that to Infinity Ward. They said, this is a massive step up, the game plays so well, it's so fluid, the pacing's way better. But then apparently Infinity Ward came back to them and said, this is actually a bug, the classic minimap was not supposed to always be active. Which is so weird and kind of seems like a lie, because according to the leakers, Infinity Ward have had the classic minimap in most of the playtests in the game for the last year or so. So the fact they were telling these people that it was just a bug, but according to QA testers it's been in there for a while, just doesn't really make much sense to me. I don't know why they changed it. I think probably the majority of Infinity Ward want to see the classic minimap, but there's higher ups such as Joe Seacott maybe and some of the other higher up people at the studio who are overseeing everything, and they made this change to have the classic minimap because I think they are trying to cater the game towards casuals, and even though most of us, the vocal online community of Call of Duty, want the classic minimap, I think their statistics and analytics they have from Modern Warfare 2019 suggest that way more casuals play the game if there's no classic minimap, because I guess people get killed easier with the classic minimap even though the flow's better. Casuals will just hop on the game, they'll start shooting, and they'll get found by better players. But then again, we have skill-based matchmaking in the game, so surely that should counter that anyways. So yeah, I don't really know what the decision for this is and why they changed it and why they told these people it was just a bug when it clearly wasn't. It just seems so disingenuous. But anyways, that's everything I wanted to talk about in today's video. Thank you for watching the video, and make sure to subscribe if you're not here for the latest and greatest Call of Duty news and information. So anyways, thank you for watching, and bye.